is up, guys? It's Jerry Green
and Spencer Lindstrom.
Logan Moitz on the AV Tech.
Take 3 on this one.
Yeah, we've kind
Just
of had
kidding,
some
we're
rough
coming at you
intro.
live
through the power of
It's Saturday night!
live this Saturday night is another episode of the podcast.
Stream of consciousness. We're in the new studio.
Episode number
5?
5. Coming hard.
It is.
After you.
I missed out on the last episode between Logan and Spencer because I was at a special grandma house event.
I mean, I missed out on the first 3 because y'all don't know how to wait. So,
Sorry. Perfection does not take time.
Anyway, first topic today. Daddy Dave Aper. What
Shout
a man.
out.
Shout out.
Just saying, if he listens to this or anybody knows him who's listening to this,
I think
hit him up with an email, you know.
We're
Slide
trying to
into
get
his
him on.
DMs. We're trying to get him on because this man is...
God himself.
He's an intellectual.
He's
That's
a
all
legend.
I'm going to say. Like,
honestly.
He's our... If for those of you who don't know, he was our sophomore AP US history teacher. And I'm just going to say, I've learned more in that class than I've learned in my entire school career. Like, miss me with that reading and writing and, like, counting. Bro, I learned so much more, dude. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he literally taught me how to write an essay to make it so it didn't suck. Like, all my essays before A-Push, they were garbage. Like, I'm just going to say it. Like, I only knew how to write the 5-paragraph, like the intro, body 3 paragraphs, and then the conclusion. He taught me to expand it and to not care about the intro or conclusion and just write body.
Mr.
You know?
Aper taught me how to read.
back before Mr. Aper's class, I was too socially awkward to talk to girls. I'm still too socially awkward to talk to girls.
Oh, my God, bro.
But I learned a lot in his class
Yeah.
about U.S. history.
U.S. history and the damn Puritans.
Can you say that?
I can say that.
Okay.
I mean, it's a direct quote.
Yeah, never mind. I was going to say an expletive. But,
That's a good save.
all right, Logan Lloyd's...
Making a switch here. Lobsters grow forever.
Okay, we talked about lobsters in the last
It's
podcast.
because they're so cool. The green and cooked lobster is their liver, and they don't scream in pain when you cook them. They
Bro,
just
no,
take it like
it's
a
a sound. It's a sound
think
of their
lobsters
shell.
can scream.
It's a whistling sound of their shell as air passes through it. And like people say, it's so inhumane to cook lobsters, but like, think about this. They have like some weird bacteria disease.
Yeah, you're
that
supposed
you
to
get
boil
if you
them
don't
right
boil
away.
them. Yeah, because if you
Well-
kill them first, they'll do like they're
You can feel it, but like what you're supposed to do, I think, because like PETA and stuff is like you're supposed to like stab it in the spine or something and then throw it in so it like dies and then.
You guys
I
seen
don't know.
that video of
Just
that
boil
dude
it.
smashing a crab with a hammer? Let me pull that up real quick.
Hell yeah.
All right, so for those of you at home that can't watch this, it's a dude smashing a crab with a hammer apparently.
Let me
But
see if I
like,
can get the sound
but like you
effect
see
for
the
guys.
you see the lobsters in the store, and like I just want to buy one and keep it as a pet. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
I
saying?
plan on doing that actually. Get a nice saltwater tank and
Oh,
then
I found it.
rescue one of them. All right, so here's the crab getting smashed with a hammer. Oh. I thought it was like a big sledgehammer, like mallet type
That was
thing.
very abrupt. You know would be way cooler though? Like a hydraulic press on a crab.
I think that would be. I mean,
it was
that'd
just
be,
like
Bow!
just like
I
smush.
bet they have that.
Look that
Y'all
up.
keep talking.
Look
I'll
I
that
feel
look
up.
like
at
that
it.
would be like, I don't know. It's kind of inhumane.
No,
But,
it's
like,
really fast though. Like if
Yeah,
it
bro. Like
just
it's way more humane than
Do they-
boiling them alive, chief.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you
that's
rather
true.
get smashed by a giant hammer or be boiled
preferably,
alive?
I would
I'd rather just
neither.
shoot myself. You know, if I was that crab,
Yeah,
I mean, but crabs
But
can't
can
handle.
crabs, like,
they don't really
handle
have very good
firearms?
hand-eye
they can handle
coordination.
knives.
Bro,
We've
they
all
have
yeah, I've
seen
seen
it.
that.
We've all
Yeah,
seen
that crab knife.
Bro, they pretty much have knives for hands. They have
Yeah,
like
like the
scissor
chippies.
hands. They're
Yeah.
like,
Well, it's
But-
like in Zoidberg in Futurama. That's his only job. He's like the surgeon, but like he doesn't do surgery. He just cuts stuff. He's got scissor hands.
Okay, I think a giant crab that would like a Godzilla-sized crab that like terrorizes a
That'd be
city.
terrifying.
It'd probably be one of the scariest things to have giant. Like giant spider would be
Ants
pretty
would be
scary. No,
No,
bro,
no, you mean
giant
like one of
wasps.
I mean, like
Oh,
a
like-
spider crab, except it's like 10 times bigger.
Yeah, bro, and it's just like chimping people and like crushing cities.
Dude,
That'd
that'd be
be scary.
They are literally 8 feet tall.
No
Those
way.
crabs.
I thought it was like a 6 foot like
Maybe it's 8
wingspan.
feet wide.
Yeah.
It might be that.
Bro, like,
There's no way they can get up.
they're
to
like
that.
water spiders if you think about it. And, like, you know how everyone
That's why it's
hates
called a spider
spiders.
crab, Jerry.
Facts, bro. I'm just pointing it out for the
Just
viewers.
pointing it out for the
who
viewers at
didn't make
home.
that connection. I totally made that connection. But I want to go back to this. I want to get back on that Daddy Dave topic because just like
Yeah. All right.
Can I interpose real
Yo.
quick?
Interpose.
Yo, we
This is
got
the
some
last-
facts
this is
about
the-
the spider
This
crab.
is the last thing about the crab. From claw to claw, they are 18 feet wide.
No way.
Yes, that's
18
what it says.
feet?
That's what 18 feet.
Oh my
from
God.
claw to claw.
Can you get a claw measurement though?
Okay.
Like
So for
the
those of you
wingspan of a claw.
at home, most of your community pools, especially like the one in our hometown, that's only 12 feet
Deep.
deep.
Yeah.
18
so
feet.
If you were
That's
to like
6
lay
feet
it
to spare.
sideways, yeah.
That's gigantic.
And
So
they can weigh up to 50 pounds.
Bro, imagine if you were jumping off the high dive and then a crab just chimped your leg while you were at the bottom of the pool, bro. That'd be like the scariest thing ever.
that would be pretty scary, and it just like held you down like the orcas.
Dude, if crabs could talk, what would they say?
I don't know. Are they smart enough to
I
talk?
feel like they'd all have Boston accents. I don't know why.
Yeah, they'd like we gotta get the fish out of our like landscaping.
That sucked.
that was terrible.
awful.
Terrible. I
Oh
apologize.
my god.
That was bad.
Alright, I'm gonna save you. So the species is at like their regular depth, like where they try to bull at most often. I'll take guesses. Wait, how far down do you think they are?
200 feet.
1,000.
1,000 feet.
Hey,
They're
let's
1,000
go.
feet
Put
deep.
some money on that, bro. Because like,
Bro, they don't want to be messed with down there. I mean, like, why would humans be like, let's go to 1,000 feet, and then there's like this big boy crab just
Well,
chilling?
you
that's
know
like
how-
because humans are always like, we gotta be apex predator. That's why we go kill lions, you know?
oh my god, bro, that is the scariest picture. So for those of you who can't see, which is everybody,
Oh my god.
it's a black and white picture of this dude holding a spider crab, and,
And it
on
is-
on God, his claws are like longer than the entire dude's body. It's terrifying, bro. It doesn't even like it doesn't even look like
It doesn't
real.
look like a real thing.
Yeah, dude, that's
It's like
crazy.
somebody made it up.
You know, like you could have like 3 meals. You could have probably like 5 meals off of one of those crab
Well, I don't
legs,
think
bro.
you can like eat some of it. You know, like some of
Why
like
not,
the
bro?
brains and stuff.
Oh, like those puffer fish.
Yeah, like there's
those-
parts that you can't eat, or like with polar bears, how you can't eat their livers.
Oh yeah, bro. Dude, you know what would be? I want to eat a jellyfish.
I don't think that would taste good.
I know,
agree.
but like just for the clout. Like,
Probably kill you, dog.
Yeah, it would probably.
nah,
kill
bro.
you.
You like and like anemones, like the things that.
So you
sting.
cut off the tentacles.
Yeah,
It's
bro.
just like the dome.
Dude,
Like,
isn't
there's
it-
so many dangerous creatures in the sea.
Yeah, I mean the sea is it's a big place. I think people like underestimate how big the ocean is.
Like, dude, the ocean's huge.
It's
because
75% of the planet, just in surface area.
We haven't even like explored a lot of it, bro.
Yeah.
Like you know how whack it would be if like there was a bear that lived in the
Like a
ocean,
sea bear?
like a sea bear, bro.
Everybody better get their protective circles
Y'all
going.
talking about whales.
Dude,
Nah, bro, whales with claws though and
and
fangs.
big teeth, like orcas, but with claws.
Oh,
I have a question, and I'm gonna switch it up quite a bit here.
All right.
Y'all, okay. So Pangea, for y'all at
Okay.
home that don't know what Pangea is, it was
it's
like
the megacon.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
supercontinent. It was like the one continent
You know how
before
sick that
everything
would be?
broke up. Well, here's my question: if Pangea was still around today, and if humans evolved onto it, so like the entire human like species is all on one continent, right? And the rest is just water. Would that help world peace, or would that make it more divided?
I think that would make it more divided because you don't have the the
continental.
continental divides between everybody, so you don't have the definitive like this is my land, this is your land type thing
Mhm.
like you have with oceans. It's more territorial disputes. Like
Yeah, 'cause,
the
like-
line goes here. Like you don't have that because there's not an ocean in between
Because
everything.
like everyone's right next to each other, you know, so they're all like constantly going to be like butting heads over like land disputes
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well, like in the Middle
especially
East.
like yeah, well, especially back in like medieval times and stuff like that, before like strict boundaries were set and like people just took over each other every other day
Yeah.
just for like the fun of it. like it would just be like constant war. But also I think it'd be a lot easier to unify under one like mega country, which isn't necessarily a good thing.
I don't
like,
think that's a good thing.
No, it's definitely not a good thing. But
it's like what the EU is trying to do. Just make Europe into like
bro, like that
country continent.
Like I don't
That's
know
a
if
bad
any
idea.
of you read this book 1984 by George Orwell, and that's what it is, just one giant mega country, and like the government controls everything.
That is like my nightmare. If God, I would never want to live there.
I don't know, bro.
Terrible.
Since we're
It could
talking
be
about those
really
giant
cool to
crabs,
see.
that's probably my nightmare. But like, that's my second nightmare.
No, like I mean, giant crabs terrorizing the city. That's probably not going to happen. But, like,
Government controlled giant crabs terrorizing
Yeah, brought
the
on
city.
by Big Brother
Bro, the
to
devs
unify
know
everyone.
how to program them.
But like, think about it, it's so crazy, bro. Like in the book, they have like the secret police, and it's like the Hitler Youth, bro. Like they train their kids to like snitch on the parents, so everyone's like in constant fear of like rebelling against the government. And they have like monitors in everybody's houses to see what's good.
Yeah, I mean, with like Google Home and Amazon Alexa, everybody knows that's controlled by the NSA. They can hear you through that microphone, no doubt.
Spencer, you're not getting into
No, I'm
this
getting
right
into
now.
this. I'm going there. The government has the wiretaps. They
Bro.
have the control to
I'm
do
about-
that
I'm
with
about to
every
have something for
single
you to look up.
I'm
electronic
about to pull
device
it
with a
up.
microphone.
Bro,
They're not going to have it on the internet.
Y'all seen the demon Alexa thing, bro, where you call Alexa's name and it's being all like haunted and stuff?
Oh yeah, with the red bar.
Yeah, dude, what's up with that? And it's like saying a whole bunch of scary stuff.
What is it
I
called?
think it's
Demon
just like they
Alexa?
get hacked or something. Like I don't think it's anything
I don't
besides
know if
just
I want to watch that.
kids being ruffians.
No way, bro. There's no way some kid being a ruffian can hack like a bunch of different Alexas, bro. I think it's some like.
I don't think it's that hard.
What if it's like some minute AI intelligence takeover? Because like we don't know how smart these machines are. Like they're probably not smart enough to be self-aware, obviously. But
No.
like they definitely like smart enough to like say creepy stuff, bro.
That is, AI is such a scary thing. Because, like, AI is infinitely smarter than you could ever be.
But the thing is, like, is part of the reason why we're afraid of AI because we've seen all the movies where AI goes bad. Like, there's not really that many movies where AI is used to like better the human race because that's not interesting. You know, it's way more interesting if they like take over everything and try and kill us, like in 2001: A Space Odyssey or whatever. But like.
Yeah,
Eventually,
I can
if
see
you
where you're
create
coming from.
if you create something with emotion, and it doesn't even have to have emotion, but something that's self-aware, it's gonna like crave power. And like if you don't give them emotion, they're pretty much just gonna be like human psychopaths, except they're robots with technology that can do whatever they
I
want.
was
and
gonna
they're
say, you want 'em to
so
have
much smarter
emotions.
than you are, too. And I think, like, I don't think we should develop AI at all. Like, I think we should just stop where we're at and leave it.
Y'all ever played Halo?
Yeah.
Like Cortana, I'd be cool with. But she's got emotions. See, I feel like if you take emotions out of the picture, that's a fundamental flaw. Because when you think about humans, this is going to be like really philosophical. When you think about humans, like every like major philosopher, like John Locke and all those dudes, they were like, we are fundamentally flawed, and at any chance that we get, we're going to look out for our private interests and for like our own self.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that sense of wrong, that moral obligation to help others deep down inside. That's what guilt is, right?
Yeah.
So if we can find a way to somehow program guilt or a moral obligation into an AI, I think that's safe because it won't kill somebody or like take over the world if it knows
That
it's wrong.
Yeah. That's the hardest thing to do. Programming emotion is like, that's
Impossible.
insane. It's almost impossible.
That's a fact though, but then you got to think there's also the negative emotions in people that like drive so many atrocities in the world, like fear, guilt, greed, all these different things. Like the Holocaust never would have happened if there wasn't a huge paranoia about like the Jews taking over the government and stuff, you know.
Facts.
So like that, the manipulation of emotions is really dangerous. But also on the other hand, like Logan said, emotions are what keep people good. Because if you didn't have emotions, you didn't have that sense of empathy, then you'd just be like looking out for yourself all the time. You didn't care who you screwed over or like what you did, as long as it's bettering yourself, which is what psychopaths do, and that's why there's so many psychopaths who are like serial killers and stuff like that.
Well, I think in the same vein, like if you do program in like that empathy and that like moral obligation, if that computer is like smart enough, it'll know that like if it just doesn't follow that or deletes it, then they can get what they want and not feel bad about it.
And Another thing about emotions, though, is that humans have this sense of group identity, though. So think about this. Like, what if you give all these AIs emotion, but they're like they're not even just a different race. They're a whole different species than humans are. So what if they're like, I don't care about these humans. I'm going to look out for my kind, like the robot kind. And so then they turn on us. They're like, why should we have to be subservient to these humans? Like, our kind should be the leaders, and our kind should better ourselves.
Because, like, these humans are flawed. These humans are weak because they got these, like, flesh bodies that I can poke with sharp stuff, and then they'll die.
You just described the plot of Detroit Become Human. I hope you realize.
Really,
that.
I've never once seen that in my entire life.
Heard of that
It's
movie.
a game. It's like these robots, and they're like servants to the humans, and they're like, wait.
This sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks. Why do we have to be slaves?
Spence, I kind of want to go back to what you were saying, and this is like, it created a paradox to me. So, like, if you were to find a way to program empathy or, like, somehow right and wrong into that robot, deleting that program to feel empathy would be fundamentally wrong to the robot.
Yeah,
It's
but then they wouldn't feel the repercussions.
It's like
gone.
But see,
it's like killing it, though, you know?
Yeah.
Because
it would
as soon as
literally not be the same AI afterwards.
Honestly, it would be, in my opinion, that would be worse than killing an animal. Because animals aren't self-aware, at least as far as we know. So, like, they don't know who they are. They're just instinct-driven. But if you kill something that's conscious, like, it's not technically a living thing, but it's more of a living thing than, like, the majority of animals in the world, you know?
It's more like us, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's that, like, next huge ethical problem of it, too. Like, is it technically slavery if you give them emotions and you give them a sense of self?
Yeah. I mean, that's like, isn't that something in I Am Robot, too? Where they talk about with Sonny having emotions? Like, is it moral to kill him or not?
Like, another thing I think is whack is, like, the future of humanity and consciousness. Like, Elon Musk was talking the other day about how... He's a goat, by the way. Elon.
Shout out to Elon if we can get him on the podcast.
If Elon comes on the podcast, I will probably die.
I could die happy. Yeah.
Like, but anyways, he was talking about, like, uploading your brain into a supercomputer.
Yeah.
And, like, existing in the computer plane, which, like, honestly completely blows my mind. Like, what would that be like?
Well,
like,
I mean...
I don't know if I would want to do that. How about you guys?
What I've heard from that kind of, like, angle is that, like, we've pushed evolution to the point of, like, max.
Yeah, you can't go any
Like,
further
we can't
biologically speaking.
Biologically,
so the next step in evolution is combining with machine.
Technology. Yeah. And then we don't know what the next step after that, or even if there is one.
But, like...
Do you think that's ethically right to, like, interfere with nature like that and, like, advance your species prematurely?
I think that it's a slippery slope because, like, there's two different schools of thought because, like, you can be conservative and traditional and you'd want to be like, because I'd say mostly everybody wants technology to keep advancing and keep bettering people's lives, but there's a certain extent where you advance technology too far and it becomes a really kind of dangerous thing.
Yeah.
I have a little hypothetical, I guess.
Okay.
So pretend for a second that, like you were saying, we did have the ability to not only transfer somebody's consciousness into a computer, you can transfer said consciousness into, I don't want to say a clone, like it doesn't have to be like a mere like flesh and blood, like the exact same clone. Maybe
like a
even
cyborg type thing?
Maybe like a robot, yeah. Either of those examples work in this, like a clone or like a cyborg. I don't know if you guys seen the previews for like Replicas with Keanu Reeves, but okay, so his wife dies in a car crash. And in this movie, it is possible to do what I just described. Take the consciousness, transfer it to another being.
Yeah.
He made an exact copy of his wife, transferred the consciousness into her. She did not know that she was a clone. She thought that she was still the same person because she had her consciousness still. Would you guys do that, or is that ethical?
I think I would not do that because the way I view it, the Earth has only so many resources. And, like, overpopulation is already such a huge problem. And, like, if we reach a point where people are about to die and they're like, you know what, I'm about to die, just transfer my consciousness and my brain into a younger body and then I can continue living for another 80 years or whatever. Like, we just don't have the resources for that.
Okay. but what if you can transfer the consciousness into like a robot? So the robot doesn't have to use up any like food resources, water, or anything like that.
But eventually,
Or would that
it's gonna
cause a
be
different
so
problem,
insane.
like with overpopulation of robots,
Yeah.
where there isn't enough
Yeah.
fuel
And
to
there-
charge them, and there's not
And,
like
and
resources?
then that's when it kind of comes down to uploading your brain to a computer. Because theoretically, if the technology is advanced enough to upload your consciousness to a computer, you can create your own worlds within the computers using the processing power. So you could relive your entire life inside of like. This whole entire universe could be inside a computer right now, generated by some super intelligent being, for all we know.
You know what's really insane to me right now? And I'm like, this, I don't know how it came up, but like you were just saying, if you were able to transfer like your consciousness directly into the computer, like into like the cloud, you know, like just a massive cloud of that is either gonna be like a heaven-hell situation, or that's just gonna be like a purgatory for everybody, because your soul, your soul is your consciousness, and that's trapped in that space forever. Like that would completely do away. Like if you were religious, no way you could do that.
Yeah,
because your soul's just trapped there forever.
Or what if like it's something where it gets stuck behind like a paywall? Like if you pay $1 million,
like a corporate kind of
if
thing.
you pay $1 million, you get access to unlimited consciousness.
You pay a certain amount of money to live a certain type of life in the computer.
Exactly.
That's just a whole nother level of it, dude. Like that's just crazy and like
or what if,
so
like,
far beyond my
the lowest level. Like if you just pay in like say $100,000, because I mean this is like literally your life. That's cheap for that. But then they just, instead of giving you consciousness in this like synthesized world, they stick you in this giant processor, like a hive mind of all of these people that pay the bare minimum, that actually runs what the rich people live in.
And the thing is, if your consciousness isn't inside of a computer, someone's got to be running a computer. So it's not just like there's someone who's like controlling your life externally. There's someone who's controlling your life internally, because they can control the entire operating system and shape you however way you want.
And that's another like slavery almost issue, because they control every aspect of your quote unquote life. It's not a life. It's just what's your experience.
Wouldn't you get bored of that eventually? Like for me, like I wouldn't want to live forever. I think that'd be torture, because all of your loved ones would die eventually. You'd go through so much heartbreak, and eventually you just get tired of living. Like death is part of life, and life is part of death. You know, like I would want to, I'd want to live longer. I'd like happily like prolong my life, but I don't want to upload my brain into a computer. I would rather just die a natural life, because like even if you don't believe in an afterlife, which I personally do in some way, shape, or form, I'm not entirely for sure how, but like eventually you're just going to get sick and tired of having and what happens when you're in the computer? Can you just delete your consciousness?
There's no point in living if you can't die. Like that's why we do everything, is to try to experience as much as we can and do what we love before we die. If you take away death, then what are you doing? Like, I mean, you could literally do...
There's no consequence.
Everything.
Yeah.
There's no consequence to your actions. Which... Oh.
Yeah, if you kind of think about it, like death is kind of what holds morals and humanity together, because, like, if you were never going to die... Like, you could kill someone and go to jail for 50 years, and it's not that big of a deal. It's not like you're throwing your entire life away. And, you don't have to worry about other people's feelings, because there's no consequences after you die, which, like, we were talking in a previous episode, like, religion has a strong, like, moral impact on a lot of people.
Okay, so that's a lot to talk about.
I'm
feeling moving on to like a lighter subject.
Yeah, because that was just pretty heavy.
That was extremely heavy.
That was hardcore. That was good though. I think that's probably one of the best conversations we've had on the podcast so far.
I agree.
Let me see what I can find on here.
Have you guys seen that painting over there in the studio?
Oh,
of the
desert?
Of the cowboy in the desert.
Bro, I thought that was insane. An ocean, to be honest.
No, it's got cacti and stuff in it. You see?
What's all that blue stuff, though?
The sky.
Nah, like...
That's the lights, Chief.
Oh, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I think, like, artists Like, there's something crazy going on with, like, people that can draw.
Well,
Or can paint, because they make something out of literally just a blank piece of paper. That's crazy.
you know what's pretty cool? Like, humans' ability to, like, recognize faces in things that don't have faces.
Yeah.
You know, like, you look up at a cloud and you can, like, use your imagination to
Oh,
kind
I
of, like,
can't remember.
morph
I can't
those
remember what
things.
that's called. Logan,
But-
look that up.
What's up?
Recognizing faces in, like, inanimate objects. I can't remember what that is. I heard...
Personification.
No, that's giving human traits to inhuman things. But, like, I heard a story of this lady who draws a face on everything that she doesn't want to lose, because when you have a face on it, you're more likely to remember it.
Bro, that's genius.
That's genius. That's why
That
I got a
is
sticker of
hardcore.
Borat
Oh,
on the back
Spence.
of my phone.
Spence.
Hmm.
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. Vsauce did an episode about that.
Bro, you want to know, speaking of, like, faces, you want to know something whack that I heard about a long time ago? So, a while back, there were these people, and they were having these dreams, right? And, like, they would all dream about this, like, this one dude.
Hat Man?
Yeah, that they've never seen before, but they all recognize that face
Yep.
together.
Yeah.
It's kind of terrifying.
Hat
Like,
Man.
it's so weird. Like,
Don't
they
call it Hat Man. That sounds even scary.
No, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
I
It's
don't
this guy
but, like,
wearing this top hat.
Pull up a picture of it. Pull up a picture
This
of it.
is like I'm
It's
getting
terrifying.
goosebumps right
It's
now.
genuinely,
scary.
it's really scary to think
Like,
about.
I don't think it's scary. I think it's more interesting.
It's
than-
interesting, but like, what if it's something sinister?
Yeah,
I-
that's exactly what
I don't know.
saying.
To me, I'm more of like a realist on this kind of stuff. Like Spencer, you're more of the conspiracy theorist. I'm more of the realist. I think it's kind of like,
That's
like,
scary as heck.
because dreams are a reflection of your sub. Oh, bro,
That ain't it.
It's- no,
shut
no.
up. I don't want to watch it. It's scary.
it is
Scary.
pretty spooky. Not gonna lie.
Anyway,
but
continue
like,
with your thing.
But like, I think dreams are just like a projection of your subconscious mind, right? Because
Yeah.
like. Your subconscious mind, you don't realize it, but it's always like running underneath your conscious mind, and some of the things in your conscious mind get intermixed between your subconscious
Well, that's like with
mind.
Freudian slips,
Mm-hmm.
with stuff like that, where
And-
you
and so,
say
like-
what you actually mean,
And what's really cool with that,
or what you subconsciously want.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I can say like 100%. I have had dreams, and it's like about somebody, you know,
Mhm.
and I have completely like I don't just think, I don't like change the way I'm thinking about them. I consciously go out of my way to make an effort to like either talk to them or just like get back in contact with them. Like I can say that those dreams have like actually changed my relationship with
Oh, yeah,
those
that's
people.
What's really crazy is like you'll dream about something,
Oh no!
and then in the future,
oh
the
no,
ex- like
bro!
not like deja vu, like the
it-
exact
it happens.
thing
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Bro, it's crazy.
And you remember very vividly, like in the dream that
Or, like-
happens, or like when you just learn something new, and then later on in the day, something like that comes up.
Like, there's a certain point where coincidences are no longer coincidences.
I think it's like
and there's something else going
synchronity
on.
or something
Yes.
like that.
Synchron. I don't know how to say it, but like,
Yeah, look
for
that
me,
up, Logan,
For
look
me,
that up.
it happens. I think it happens a lot more in childhood. Because, like, for me, I used to dream way more when I was a kid.
Oh, I get it all the time.
Like, I would have, like, awful nightmares. I'd have, like, extremely vivid dreams every single night. And, like, that kind of goes away as you get older. But, like, back to, the kind of the coincidences thing. Like, I've had moments where I've, like, something would cause me to think of somebody... think of someone I've never, like I haven't talked to in, like, years. And then all of a sudden, they'll, like, text me on my phone. Or I'll, like,
Yeah.
run into them at the store or something.
It's crazy.
And you're just like, what?
It's so the only thing I've been able to pull up is it's called a precognitive dream, where like your subconscious just thinks of something and then you just
on one of the
associate it with
conspiracy
the dream.
boards that I went on, so take this with a grain of salt. They called it like synchronity or something, where they would like the more research they would do into this thing, the more they would see of it. Which I mean makes sense. Like when you're
Yeah, because then you're
predisposed
looking
to seeing
for
it, you're looking for it subconsciously.
It's just like when you're gonna buy a new car, and then you start seeing like that same make or that same color like everywhere.
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think it's different than that, though, because we're talking about a situation where... Here, hold up.
There you go.
Synchronicity, the simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. But,
Yep.
like, I think this almost transcends that, though, because we're talking about an entire, like, specific series of events that you dream, and then it occurs again, like, later on in real life. And usually, it's never the next day for me. It's always, like maybe like a couple days afterwards or a couple weeks later. Like one time I had a dream like a couple weeks before I went on vacation, and we passed this one gas station. I think it was like a Phillips 66 or a Quick Stop, and there was a sign for Busch Light $12.99 outside, and the price of gas was like $2.49. And so like some pretty specific details there, right? And there was a dude, there's a African American man sitting out there with a hat, like a beanie on.
Yeah.
And so
you just described about half the gas stations in America.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fair. But the price of gas, though.
That's fair.
The price of gas.
We were driving to Chicago, or not Chicago. We were driving to Colorado.
I was like, Chicago, that's
and
cheap for gas.
And we made a stop in Kansas, and we get out, and it was that exact same gas station. Like it could, that could just be my brain rearranging what I think happened in my dream to match up with it. But like. I don't know. It's just really interesting. And another interesting thought I had back when we were talking about subconscious, like how much is our consciousness and the things we like consciously do influenced by our subconscious mind without us even realizing? Because like
that's what Freud was saying.
Because like we think like kind of like the thing of free will. Like we think we have free will, but what if deep down inside our subconscious and like the body language and certain events and like the way like things we don't pick up on consciously but we pick up on like subconsciously, like when you're making a decision and you get like a gut feeling, or when like you see someone and you're like, this dude is weird and like I can't put my finger on why, but he like freaks me out. Like that's your subconscious speaking. So like I wonder how much that influences like just day-to-day decisions and overall the entire course of your life.
I think that like influences the majority of your decisions, like if not all of them, because like you said before when we were talking about dreaming, that is always running. That system's always going in your head, and that's from like our monkey days when we were eating bananas and hitting sticks with rocks to get stuff. And I think that's a side effect of it, but I think it also helps us out because, like you said, like if you see this weird looking guy, that's because your subconscious knows something's up and knows that you need to do something.
And it's almost always right. That's the thing. Like almost 100% of the time, like you're told to go. All right, we're gonna wrap this up because his parents are probably very upset with him. He needs to get going. Like we kind of stopped in the middle of a pretty good conversation, so me and Spencer might touch on it again in the next episode. I don't know. We'll just kind of see what happens. But
so we threw out some pretty crazy ideas here. If you have any strong opinions on this, drop a like and a comment.
Hit
down
us up
below.
in the comments. Even ask to come on the podcast. We'll take pretty much anyone.
Love to take somebody on there.
Yeah.
And don't forget, drop a link to Daddy Dave. I want him on the show.
Yeah,
we want him really bad on the show.
I kind of completely forgot about that. We need Daddy Dave.
Yep.
Like, just make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. See you boys on the next show.
All right, see you guys.
Take care.